This video is brought to you by...
Don't ever let them put you in a box. Don't ever let them predict your next move. And most of all, don't ever stop motivating them. Cool green clothing, top of the line men's beard oil, coming soon. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way. And that's just basic.
It's your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 times, and I'm back with another episode of the Baltimore Way. In this video, I'll be taking it just south of Baltimore to Glen Burnie to discuss the tragic slaying of Charlotta Barkley as she tried to get away from her on-again, off-again boyfriend. But before we get into this video, please hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. And of course, feel free to share this video with everyone you know. Also, if you'd like to see more episodes of the Baltimore Way, please click the link to the playlist in the description box after this video to get caught up. All right, let's get into it. Charlotta Lynn Barkley was born on August 4th, 1969 in Salisbury, Maryland, to her loving parents, Eunice Gregory and Robert Handy Sr. She grew up in Salisbury most of her life. She was affectionately known as Butch or Lotta. Charlotta would become a wife and mother, and when she was first introduced to her husband, Rudolph Rudy Barkley, it was love at first sight. She worked at Purdue Farms, Inc. in Salisbury, Maryland for 12 years. She was later employed by the Office of State Superintendent of Schools in Washington, D.C. in the transportation of special needs children. Charlotta was a very kind and loving person with a great sense of humor. When Charlotta worked with the special needs children, she encouraged them to be their best and not listen to anyone making fun of them. Charlotta was a light in many people's lives. Charlotta's husband, Rudolph, passed away. After becoming a widow, Charlotta would start dating a man named Michael Wilson. They dated off and on for several years. During those years, the relationship could be volatile, with Michael using manipulative actions and threats to control Charlotta. Michael went so far as to putting his hands on Charlotta at one point. Michael struggled with addiction and mental health issues. As a result, he also had run-ins with the law that landed him with 2 assault charges in 2002 and 2006. And in 2012, Michael was convicted of robbery in Baltimore and sentenced to 6 years. He was released by 2016, and he and Charlotta lived together in an apartment in Glen Burnie. Sadly, Michael was up to his old ways, and things escalated quickly on the night of Saturday, May 7th, 2016. It was approximately 10 p.m. when 42-year-old Michael Wilson returned to his apartment on the 7800 block of Tall Pines Court. He just started pacing between the living room and the bedroom where his girlfriend, 46-year-old Charlotta, was staying in. The couple began to argue for several minutes. A frightened Charlotta exited the bedroom and instructed her daughter to get dressed so they could leave for the store. For her and her daughter's safety, she contacted Anne Arundel County Police to request assistance. As Charlotta and her daughter walked to their car, Michael was on their trail. Michael and Charlotta started to argue again. When Michael heard the sirens, he began chasing Charlotta around the parking lot. He then pulled out a sharp object and went after Charlotta with it. As Charlotta's daughter tried to help her mother, Michael cut her hand. He then turned and continued to cut Charlotta in the back and upper body before he fled the scene on foot. Charlotta's daughter got her mother into the car and they drove to the hospital. They were immediately given emergency treatment. Charlotta's daughter's physical wounds were non-life-threatening, but Charlotta was in critical condition. Police got to the scene on Tall Pines Court at around 11:30 p.m., where they found a crime scene in the area, but no victims. Police soon learned that the two women were at the Baltimore Washington Medical Center with injuries from the domestic incident. Charlotta had suffered severe wounds to her upper body. She later succumbed to her injuries and was pronounced gone at 2:15 a.m. on May 8, 2016. An arrest warrant was issued for Michael Wilson. Just before 9 o'clock a.m. that Sunday morning, after an extensive search using patrols, helicopters, canine, and a foot pursuit, law enforcement located Michael Wilson in the 7800 block of Crane Highway South. He faced multiple serious charges. A neighbor who lived in the same building as Charlotta and Michael and knew them personally said they never saw any signs of physically harmful behavior. Everybody in the building was shocked and never thought anything like this would happen. But others close to Charlotta knew what she was really going through and already knew she was involved in a DV relationship with Michael and hoped for a different outcome. Charlotta was laid to rest on May 21st, 2016, and her life was celebrated by all who loved and cherished her. On November 13th, 2017, Michael Wilson entered an Alford plea, which means he maintains his innocence but acknowledges that there is enough evidence to convict him. He pleaded guilty to first-degree hit of Charlotta Barkley and second-degree assault of Charlotta's daughter. In 2018, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, with an additional 10 years. The Anne Arundel State's Attorney referred to Michael as a domestic menace. May Charlotta Lynn Barkley continue to rest in peace. My belated condolences to her family. Charlotta lost her life so brutally and senselessly. It's just very sad how it all happened. Charlotta tried to call the police to make a safe exit. Michael didn't care. He had absolutely no fear of the police coming. He waited until he heard the sirens to go after Charlotta. It just shows how far Michael was willing to go to make sure Charlotta didn't leave. His manipulative actions and threats weren't idle and resulted in a fatal end for Charlotta. If anyone is going through DV, my well wishes and love are with you. Please safely seek professional help and talk to someone you can trust. Leaving isn't always easy for many reasons, and DV is never okay. If you feel compelled, call the hotline. You're not alone. Fam, please share your thoughts on this story in the comments below. All right, fam, that's it for this episode of the Baltimore Way. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 Times. Until next time.